You've been programmed to lose. Every time you chose honesty over strategy, you handed someone else the advantage. Every time you believed fairness mattered, someone who did not believe that took what was yours. You think morality protects you, but it's the leash they use to keep you in place. Machiavelli knew something you've been trained to deny. Power doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't reward virtue. It flows to whoever understands the game well enough to stop playing by rules that only bind the weak. You were taught that good people win in the end, that integrity builds success, that being decent makes you valuable. Those lessons didn't protect you. They made you predictable, and predictable people get used. There's a reason the person who lies in the meeting gets the promotion, while you stay quiet with the better idea. There's a reason the manipulator in your social circle gets attention, while your honesty gets ignored. You thought playing fair would earn respect. What it earned you was invisibility. Because the people moving ahead aren't concerned with being good. They're concerned with being effective. And effectiveness looks nothing like the morality you were sold. Machiavelli warned that the gap between how people live and how they should live is so wide that anyone who abandons what is done for what should be done learns self-destruction rather than self-preservation. That sentence isn't philosophy. It's a hard truth. He's telling you that clinging to standards in a world that doesn't operate on them is a form of volunteer failure. You're not losing because you're unlucky. You're losing because you're operating with a rule book no one else is reading. Watch what happens when you tell the truth in a room where everyone else is managing perception. You think you're being authentic. They think you're being naive. Your honesty becomes their information. Your transparency becomes their advantage. They don't punish you for it directly. They just step around you. You become the person they can predict, dismiss, and outlast. Morality in a strategic environment isn't virtue. It's a miscalculation. You've been in situations where someone with less skill, less experience, and less integrity got further than you. You told yourself it was temporary. You told yourself hard work would eventually win. But hard work doesn't win. Perception wins. Timing wins. Willingness to take what others hesitate to take wins. The person who succeeded wasn't better than you. They were less burdened by the belief that the system rewards goodness. They understood the system rewards leverage. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. That's not cruelty. That's accuracy. Love is conditional. Respect is conditional. Fear is structural. People cooperate with you when they need you, when they fear losing access to you, or when ignoring you costs them something. Affection doesn't create that. Niceness doesn't create that. Being agreeable makes you safe to ignore. You've already experienced this. Every time you prioritize being liked over being necessary, you made yourself replaceable. There's a specific moment that repeats in your life. Someone asks for your help. You provide help. They benefit from your effort, and you expect nothing in return, because expecting something feels manipulative. They move on. You're surprised when they don't reciprocate. But they're not surprised. They understood the transaction better than you did. You thought you were being kind. They thought you were being available. Kindness without boundaries isn't generosity. It's a signal that you don't value your own position. They know that power is taken, not earned. They know that waiting for fairness is waiting forever. They don't announce their strategy. They just move. And while you're deciding whether it's right to ask for what you need, they've already asked, received, and secured the next advantage. You're not competing with their morals. You're competing with their clarity. Machiavelli observed that people judge by appearances and outcomes, not by methods. No one asks how you got the result. They only see that you got the result. If you win, your ruthlessness becomes decisiveness. If you lose, your morality becomes weakness. The narrative adjusts to the outcome. You've been trying to win while also being loved for how you won. Those are two separate games, and playing both means losing both. You've watched people lie and get away without consequence. Not because the lie was clever, but because they didn't flinch. They said it with enough confidence that questioning them felt awkward. You've watched people take credit for work they didn't do, and no one corrected the record because correcting it would create conflict. You stayed quiet because making a scene felt wrong. That quietness didn't protect you. It erased you, and the person who took credit didn't feel guilty. They felt successful. And success, regardless of how it's obtained, gets rewarded more than integrity ever will. Here's what no one tells you about virtue. It only works when everyone submits to the same standard. The moment one person defects, the entire system collapses for everyone still playing by the rules. You're in a prisoner's dilemma where the other player has already defected, and you're still cooperating. That is not virtue. That's strategic suicide. Machiavelli didn't say abandon all morality. He said stop letting morality be the thing that makes you lose. If your principles cost you everything, they're not principles. They're liabilities. The exhaustion of being the person who doesn't play dirty. The bitterness of watching people with fewer skills get ahead because they were willing to do what you refused to do. You told yourself you were above such actions, but being above that didn't make you successful. It only made you resentful. And resentment is what happens when you realize the rules you followed were never enforced on anyone else. The trap isn't that you're too good. The trap is believing your goodness will eventually be rewarded by a system that does not value goodness. You're waiting for a moment of recognition that will never come, because the system doesn't see goodness. It sees who controls resources, who can't be ignored. Machiavelli understood that the prince who relies on morality alone will be destroyed by those who don't. You're not a prince, but the logic is the same. Your position in any hierarchy is determined by your ability to make others need you, fear losing you, or respect your capacity to act. There's a version of you that stops waiting for fairness and starts creating outcomes. That version doesn't announce a strategy, doesn't justify, doesn't apologize for taking up space. That version understands that power is revealing. It shows who is already willing to move decisively and who is waiting for permission. You've been waiting, and everyone who wasn't waiting has already moved past you. Machiavelli stated that the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. That sentence should disturb you. It means every boundary you'll eventually enforce, every risk you'll eventually take, every uncomfortable conversation you'll eventually have, someone else already did the same. While you were calculating the right moment, they acted. While you were protecting your image, they secured the result. You're not avoiding immorality. You're avoiding reality. And that avoidance has cost you years. You know the person in your life who gets what they desire without seeming to struggle. They're not smarter. They're not more talented. They just ask without shame. They push without apologizing. They take up space without waiting for approval. You've judged them for their actions. You've called them selfish, aggressive, shameless. And while you were judging them, they kept winning. Your judgment didn't stop them. It just made you feel superior while staying stuck. Here's the choice you've been avoiding. You can keep believing the world rewards goodness, that patience pays off, and that doing the right thing protects you. Or you can accept that the game is already being played around you, and your refusal to play doesn't make you moral. It makes you a spectator. Machiavelli didn't write his rules because he was evil. He wrote them because he watched good people lose always while bad people thrived. He was giving you the map. You've been pretending the territory is something else. The cost of seeing this clearly is that you can't go back. You can't pretend the people around you are operating on fairness when you've now seen how they actually move. You'll notice every time someone uses your honesty against you. Every time your patience gets mistaken for weakness. Every time someone takes what you were too polite to claim. And once you notice, every time you let it happen again, you become a participant in your own disappearance. Now that you see this, you're on your own.